For the last few decades, most speaker companies have been selling you an idea. The best way to listen to music is through a box. But that box was never really about giving you perfect sound. It was about what was easy to build. Well, today, that's all changing. This is what I think sound is supposed to look like. And I'm going to show you why your next speakers might not be a box. For decades, if you bought a speaker, you bought a box. And from small bookshelf models to massive towers, they all share the same DNA. Flat panels, usually made of wood. Now, it's not because a rectangle is the magic shape for audio, it's because rectangles are cheap and simple to mass produce. You can cut hundreds of flat panels on an automated line, stack them flat, and ship them easily. In many ways, the box is a triumph of manufacturing for the modern consumer. But that convenience comes with acoustic compromises. The two main headaches with the box are what happens on the outside and what happens on the inside. First, the outside. When sound leaves the driver, you want it to spread out smoothly, right? But when that wave hits the sharp edge of a cabinet, it diffracts. Think of a wave in a pond hitting a sharp rock. It creates a secondary ripple. In audio, these ripples are a form of distortion that can smear the sound, blurring the details and messing with the stereo image. High-end speaker designers work hard to minimize this with things like rounded edges, but they're still fighting that basic shape. Now, the bigger problem is inside. A speaker driver creates sound by moving forwards and backwards. The sound from the front is the music you hear in the listening space, but it's also creating the exact same sound wave from the back. Inside the box with flat parallel walls, that back wave causes trouble. It bounces around, creating standing waves. Basically, certain frequencies get amplified. Now, engineers have been fighting these problems for years with clever bracing and acoustic stuffing, and they've gotten very good at it. But they're still just that. They're fixes for a fundamentally compromised shape. What if the enclosure itself could be the solution from the start? Now, we live in a totally new age of making things. The old limits of saws and assembly lines, they're giving way to new freedoms. And with that freedom, we can finally build shapes that used to be impossible, shapes designed purely for sound. It all starts with the sphere, well, in our case, sphere adjacent. Acoustically, a sphere is a fantastic starting point for a speaker. Its curved surface means there are no sharp edges for the sound to diffract off of. And the sound radiates smoothly, giving you a cleaner signal and a more precise, stable soundstage. And on the inside, the non-parallel walls make it much harder for those nasty standing waves to form, which leads to a more neutral and uncolored sound. While a sphere is ideally optimal, that speaker face would interrupt our perfect roundness. So I'm gonna go sphere adjacent. And for years, making a seamless shape that has 3D curves was a nightmare filled with manual labor or intensive CNC processes. But with 3D printing, we can build one layer by layer right here in our own home. But what about that pesky back wave? Just stuffing our shape with foam feels like the same old compromise. And this is where it can get fun. We can now design the inside of the speaker just as intentionally as the outside. And let me introduce you to the gyroid. A gyroid is an infinitely complex repeating surface, mathematically described by NASA researcher Alan Schoen back in 1970. It's a pattern that nature loves. You find it in similar structures in butterfly wings and cell membranes, as well as your splicer settings. It's incredibly strong for its weight, and it's also porous. When you fill the inside of a speaker with a gyroid lattice, you're creating something that does two jobs at once. Instead of just absorbing the back wave with foam, the gyroid's intricate open structure scatters and diffuses its energy before it can reflect back and interfere with the driver. It acts as both incredibly strong, lightweight bracing and as an acoustic diffuser. It's a level of internal complexity that would be practically impossible to create with traditional methods. Now, if you're looking to recreate this, but you do not want to invest in a printer, my friends and sponsor of this video, PCBWay, can help with that. They offer cost-effective 3D printing in FDM, resin, and even some more exotic methods for those extra tough parts. They're also able to do CNC and PCBs as well to complete any maker's needs. So check them out in the link below. And while you're there, check out their 12th anniversary design contest for a chance at some amazing prices. Now, this is just scratching the surface. We're moving from a world of brute force fixes to one of an elegant, nature-inspired design. If you're finding this as cool as I do, and you want to see more deep dives into how modern making is changing everything, make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell, because I would love to turn this into a series on the channel if you guys enjoy it. So how do you actually turn these concepts into a real physical object? Now, the whole journey starts not with saws and tools, but with software. The idea for the speaker began with a great full-range driver and a simple question: what's the best possible home for it? I started by modeling a somewhat fluid shape in CAD using well-established formulas to calculate the exact internal volume the driver needs to perform at its best. But instead of leaving it hollow, I filled that internal cavity with a variable gyroid lattice. Inside the software, I can tweak its density to find the perfect balance between structural strength and acoustic diffusion. And this single complex part becomes the speaker's skeleton and its lungs. And then you send those files to a 3D printer. For this, I used a standard consumer-grade machine, and the material chosen is a PLA filament printed with high wall count for rigidness, which is exactly what you want to dampen vibrations in a speaker enclosure. Slowly, this impossibly complex shape just appears. You're not assembling a box, you're creating a seamless form where the outside is perfectly smooth and the inside is a labyrinth designed to tame sound itself. And after 20 hours of printing, the parts are complete. The raw prints that have that typical matte, slightly rough 3D printed texture, that's the vibe I want for this. I want to showcase that these were not some fancy injection molded piece. They were crafted at home by a guy who most likely knows what he's doing. Finally, assembly. The driver is mounted, the wires are soldered, and the two halves are sealed to create a perfectly airtight enclosure, which is critical for predictable performance. The result isn't just a speaker, it feels more like a piece of a functional sculpture. So after all that, what's the result? Well, I think the sound is defined more by what you do not hear. You do not hear the cabinet. There is no sense of a boxy resonance clouding up vocals in the mid-range. You don't hear the smearing effect of sharp edges. And to my ears, the image is incredibly wide, it's deep and stable, and there's a clarity and immediacy to the sound that is almost startling. Instruments seem to have their own distinct space, and I can hear the little textures in a singer's voice. The long decay of a cymbal, details that often get lost. The bass is tight and articulate, though it is small in respect to the driver's size. And this is not digital tricks, but it's because the rigid, inert enclosure, it's not vibrating and wasting energy. It sounds honest to the recording, and it's the sound of the driver and pretty much nothing else. Now, what's really revolutionary here, though, is that this kind of acoustic design is no longer just a boutique for audio companies with million-dollar R&D budgets. This was made with tools and materials that's available to anyone. And it's me bringing the sound of high-fidelity audio design into the home workspace. So, for some time, we have kind of been trained to accept a compromise. We've listened to music through a shape that was designed for a factory assembly line, and not for the physics of sound. The box is a relic, a product of an old way of making things, and not bad, but it's old. Today, we can truly design for sound. We can create organic, intelligent shapes that work with the laws of physics and not against them. And these weird, beautiful forms aren't just for looks. They are a key to unlocking a level of audio purity that was once out of reach for most of us. The future of sound isn't square, it's whatever shape sound demands. And thanks to these new tools, the future is here already. Now, I've made these 3D files for the speaker you saw available for download. There's a link in the description if you're wanting to start your journey into the future of sound. What shape do you think sound should be? Let me know your ideas in the comments below. And on that, thank you for watching.